It's wonderful. You're standing in the poses that makes you feel beautiful and empowered, and when you think about the fact that these soldiers were painting these women on the noses of their aircraft, it made them confident. It made them go with confidence into battle. So what more empowerment is that? I think it's great.
How are you? My name is Gina Elise, and I'm founder of national nonprofit organization Pinups for Vets. And we produce World War II style pinup calendars that raise thousands of dollars to buy state-of-the-art rehab equipment for VA and military hospitals nationwide. And today we are doing our photo shoot. Back in 2006, it was 2 years after I graduated from UCLA, and I was working in the hotel industry. I was a hotel manager, and there was a lot of stories at that time that were coming out about the Iraq veterans that were coming back to VA and military hospitals within the United States that were having really struggling to care for them because of the huge influx. And my grandfather was a World War II Army veteran, and I felt so strongly that I wanted to do something to support these hospitals so that they could better care for our veterans. And I've always been a big fan of pinup art. They used to paint these beautiful women on the sides of planes during World War II to kind of boost the morale of the air crews and remind the GIs of what they were fighting for back home. So I thought, let me take that concept and kind of bring that into today to do a fundraiser calendar to support our veterans of all generations. And after 4 years, I ended up resigning from my job as a hotel manager to fully focus on the nonprofit. And since then, we've grown exponentially.
My name is Jennifer Marshall. I'm a proud Navy veteran. I spent 5 years in the U.S. Navy. I was deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. I've never done a professional pinup shoot, so it took a little bit of convincing, but I'm so glad I did it, because this is a far cry from wearing your coveralls and being on deployment and working 16 hours a day. Yeah, I did logistics. That was my main job, but I was on the ship security defense force, so I got to play with all the big guns. And I was on the repair locker fire team, so in case there was, a massive fire on board, we would help the onboard firefighters. Yeah, I did a lot of boy type stuff, so this is a real switch from how it was 10 years ago when I was in. I should have pulled off everything and shown you what I really look like underneath this. You would be like, who is that person? Because I'll give you guys a tip, okay? All this is like Spanx and bras and pads and nylons and waist cinchers and wigs, and I could look like E.T. when I take this off. You have no idea.
My name is Ricky Reba. I'm a lieutenant in the United States Navy. I'm currently active duty and stationed at Point Mugu, which is kind of like Western Malibu. Gina and I met at a veterans event called Veterans in Film and Television. And the moment that I met this girl, I knew that she had such a wonderful heart, and she just had a really great presence, and she was honest and sincere about her program and her organization that she represents. I'm here today to kind of bring some sexy to the photo shoot, because apparently there's not enough guys in the calendar, so that's why they recruited me. The guys are gonna love it, right? Yeah. I'm sure they're gonna tease me pretty good. They already do a little bit. I told them that I was coming over here, and they asked me what swimsuit I was gonna wear. I told them it was gonna be a nice little bikini, so they got a kick out of it. We had such great shots today, and the chemistry was awesome. We were having a blast. This car is wonderful. Everything here is so authentic. I feel like I'm, being transported back in time. There was a few times where I stuck my leg up in the air and I was hamming it up, and no, it's too difficult to outshine a beautiful star like Gina.
On the surface, we're shooting a really fun, artistic calendar. It's an artistic project, but underneath that layer, it's benefiting a cause that should be important to all Americans, which is supporting our veterans. In addition to raising money to buy state-of-the-art rehab equipment for VA and military hospitals, we ship thousands of care packages overseas to Iraq and Afghanistan and other bases, American military bases around the world. We ship brownies and the calendars. We have T-shirts. It might seem like a small gesture, but it means so much to our service members who are sacrificing so much so that we can have our freedom. We're actually in the middle of a 50-state VA and military hospital tour where we get dressed up like pinup girls and hand-deliver donated calendars bed to bed, room to room, as gifts of appreciation for the veterans that are in the hospital. And to date, we visited 45 VA and military hospitals in 27 states, and we visited 6,000 veterans at their bedside.
Hi! How are you?
Good, how are you?
Hi. Makes my day today.
I was in a hospital one time, and when we go in the room, we like to, ask the vet what branch they were in and when's your birthday, and we kiss the calendar on their birthday, really to get their mind off the fact that they're in the hospital. And so I was speaking to this patient, I'll never forget this the rest of my life. And he was answering my questions, very quietly, but he was answering them. And I left the room, and the nursing staff rushed up to me to tell me that that veteran had suffered a traumatic brain injury, and that was the first time that he spoke in a month. And so you never really know the impact that you'll have when you put yourself out there and dedicate your time, to people that are suffering and that are going through challenges.
We're at Cable Airport. I am an emergency medicine physician. I was a flight surgeon for Marine Heavy Helicopter Squadron 366, the Hammerheads, which is a heavy lift helicopter squadron.
My name is Javon Henry. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I served from 2008 to 2012. I was a combat correspondent, which basically means I was a photojournalist. Before I joined the Marine Corps, I modeled in Tokyo for 2 years, and then I came home and joined the Marine Corps. Preparing is a bit of an overstatement. About 20 minutes before I left for work, I Googled pin-up and motorcycle and kind of stood at my desk at work and tried to try out a couple of poses. But when I came out here, Gina made it so easy and fun. It was effortless, it was amazing, and the poses just came.
I think I'm going to take it home to my husband, number one, and then number two is go put it up in my ER and see if anybody notices it's Doc Stacy.
I've seen the reaction of the veterans and how surprised they are that somebody cares. There's so much long-term lasting effects from all these simple gestures of just going into these hospitals and saying hi to these veterans and saying thank you.
They say that there's no community like the veteran community, and I really feel a sense of camaraderie and a sense of duty to my fellow veterans.
Medicine and doctors can only go so far. Attitude is a huge part of recovery, and I think it's great that that an organization like this can come in and really make a difference in patients' lives on top of what the doctors and nurses are trying to do, which is the medical side of things.
We literally go bed to bed, room to room, and when we have to walk back, I'll look in all the rooms and you can see the vets, they're all like flipping through the calendar, and that's what I really like to see, because then their mind is kind of off of if they're dealing with pain or if they've just gone through surgery. And I think to get their mind off of that and to know that there's happiness and things to look forward to and joy, that leads to healing. And so that's, one of the best things.